corredores en movimiento. El tiro a tercera. Gators on baseball. Yeah, you know the name.
What's up, everybody? Schmitty and Christian with another episode of Skaters on Baseball, the podcast with balls, and we do not endorse the tush push. So let's talk Giants baseball tonight. We lost 2-3 to the Royals. We got on an airplane and went all the way to the East Coast. Tonight we're going, I think, to DC. Probably a straight shot. Lots to talk about, though. Christian, what did you see out there?
Hey, well, should we go through the whole series? Because there were a couple things that were just troublesome about this series.
Absolutely.
The first game.
No, babe.
How do we end up with 10 foul pop outs to either the catcher or the corner infielders? How?
That's a good question. Some might say this Bubik guy's a pretty good pitcher, but others might say that the guys that are hitting aren't doing their job. Everybody's trying to hit the long ball, and they're getting the upward swing and popping up.
Yeah, I saw somebody was saying I'd rather have a boob itch than a pec strain.
Ooh, I like that.
But seriously, the series was had all the hallmarks of 2024. You had a lot of men left on base and a lot of 0 for 8, 0 for 9, 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Just something's not clicking on the offensive side. And today, the pitching, obviously Webb didn't have a great game. That's an understatement. And the defense wasn't great except for the Jung-Hoo Lee gunning down the guy at the plate. Thought that was nice. But what a shame to let Salvador Perez break up his homerless streak in San Francisco.
Yeah, tough. I was talking to somebody after the game. We were discussing this weird thing that I trip off on all the time, which is we tend to play to the team we're playing. And by that, I mean, like, if the other team scores 8 runs, we'll score 4, right? But if the other team scores 1 run, we won't get any hits. And it just seems this weird aura where I don't know why, but I mean, Justin Verlander, who went on the IL today, perfect example of this. The guy has pitched good. All these people that are talking down on Verlander, yes, he's got a pectoral problem. His wife does not. And we won't know how long he's out, but I think it's only going to be 2 starts. So it's only a 10-day DL, but he's pitched good and he has no wins to show for it. Yep. So these are the things that a lot of people point fingers at pitching. And to me, our pitching is solid. Logan gets a hiccup every once in a while because he's solid. But the bats are becoming a serious eyesore. Patrick Bailey finally got his first home run today, but he's batting 183. Adames, I don't know when he's going to show up like the paid shortstop that we got. Chapman, I'm doing a new thing with Matt Chapman, guys. So I'm going to go back. I was going to start it today, but I'm going to go back and go through all the games, and I'm going to write down when Chapman succeeded with runners in scoring bases versus when he did not, and what the score was at those times. Because in my mind, he's getting close to Brandon Belt territory. I'm worried that he's got a lot of good numbers when it's not as important. I saw him strike out the other day with a guy at second and third. I saw him pop up the other day, and I like the guy. As everyone knows, I've been supporting Matt Chapman. He's tremendous defense, and he's got power, and he's got speed. He's a well-rounded athlete, but his time as a clutch player, I told Christian last night, I was like, I felt more confidence with Casey Schmidt coming up that he was going to get a hit, which he did. And Chapman sometimes doesn't do that in those cases. And so that's an issue. But yeah, the hitting overall just needs to improve all the way around, really.
Yeah.
Ramos is doing pretty good, actually, right? And
Yep.
Flores has been out of his mind. Jung Hoo Lee took a stutter step, but he'll be fine. He's 276 right now. But yeah, we got to figure this out.
Yeah, it's definitely an issue. Yastrzemski kind of has chilled out a little bit, and so you can't have 5, 6 guys in your lineup not getting it done. And I don't think that it's a talent issue. There's something going on with the approach at the plate. A lot of guys have a terrible 2-strike approach. Other guys are just going up there hacking at the first pitch, and it's like they need to kind of slow it down a little bit. I mean, you constantly hear people talk about slowing it down, and I think the Giants are like trying to hurry up and put runs on the board because they're tired of playing from behind, but you don't hurry up to get it done. It just doesn't. You can see it. Guys look like they're over eager to get a hit, get a knock, do something, drive a run in, and it's like when you got 10 pop outs, it's just. It kind of tells you what's going on. Guys are just swinging at bad pitches, and then I'm sure, there's a bunch of people who want to jump on Tyler Rogers for giving up that home run to Pasquantino. And if you saw the pitch, it was a great pitch. The guy just managed to reach out and run into it. And he's such a big, huge dude that he's got power, he's a bad ball hitter. So anybody who wants to jump on Tyler Rogers can stop right now. The key to this series loss and the key to the last several games that the Giants have come up short has been all on the bat side, on the offense side, right? So I see Eddie saying Adames is a huge bust. I don't think the Giants would be where they're at without him, but I do think it's been fits and starts, and every time we sort of think that he's going to break out, he kind of goes back into his hole, I mean, he hits a triple yesterday, and then today? Just not much,
He looked lost today. He was swinging so poorly at balls, the swerve, as they call it. I was not impressed with his at-bats at all today, and I was looking forward to it. I thought, you see this glimpse of what he could be and what probably he will be, and you can't call anyone a bust this early on in the season. I wouldn't say that at all.
Yep.
And I do agree with you that the team morale and everything that's going on with the team, I think you give Buster some credit for that. But Buster brought in Adames, and he literally changed the clubhouse and the way people are together on the field and in the dugout and stuff. Like, I go to a lot of games. Today was number 24. I'm watching a lot of stuff. I'm down in the dugout area where I can see these guys, and they're smiling and having fun. Last night I sat front row in the bullpen in the bleachers, which was a real treat. And you're looking down at Camilo with a smile on his face. Like, when have you ever seen Camilo with a smile on his face?
Yep.
Jordan Hicks is out there. He looks comfortable. Like, Harrison's out there running around, loosening up. It just looks like guys that are like happy. The cohesiveness is really good. So you give Adames that, and then you give him some time to acclimate to San Francisco. He's never played outdoors at his home stadium. So a lot of this stuff, like coming to SF, getting this cold weather, playing outside with the wind and all those conditions, it's probably a little bit of a challenge. And then you're, trying to get your new house. I think it's a lot similar to what happened with Chapman. He came and you're also squeezing, like, you're the highest paid player in the history of this organization. There's a lot of pressure on you, whether you're smiling and have a good time or not. You feel that pressure. So he needs to just get the monkey off his back, get in a routine where he's starting to do it. And I think it's going to happen. I really do. I'm not hating on Adames at all right now.
No. And
yeah, I would say Sasaki is more of a bust.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely. I mean, Buster talked a lot about it's about pitching and defense, and we've had plenty of that. But at some point, the offense has to be there too. And, it just hasn't showed up, or it's showed up in weird ways. Like they'll go out and score double-digit runs one day and then get shut out the next. It's kind of, I don't know. It's a little bit inconsistent and lopsided. So I got a question for you. I want to know what you think about this. Melvin has now trotted out a different batting order, I believe 4 or 5 games in a row, where he's just shuffling the deck every single day. What do you feel? What do you feel like? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think it's going to help, hurt? What? I mean, I'm curious.
Well, I think he's been asked about it, and what he says is, it's kind of like moving pieces around until you kind of figure out like what's going to be the working situation. There's a lot of geniuses that have 12 packs next to them and sit on their couch and say they know exactly what the lineup should be, but I think it's a little more difficult than that. I would say he is playing with the lineup because of the struggles certain people are having. I think he knows what the lineup ideally he would like to have in there, but with these guys not performing the way that they're supposed to be, that's when you mix it up. And like Wilmer second was really interesting to me. I think he's a good 2-hole hitter. I just worry about guys with lack of speed, that can hit into a double play to start out a game. You get the leadoff guy on, and then he hits a ground ball up the hole that the shortstop throws to second, and he's not even halfway to first yet. Those are the things that scare me about the 2-hole for Wilmer. I almost like Wilmer in the 4-hole.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I'm totally on board with that. You got to have your fast guys up front, because they're going to make stuff happen on the bases if somebody gets a hit behind them. Flores' number 2 thing is kind of a head scratcher for me. I feel like he's minimum 3 to 4, maybe even a 5-hole guy, just for the shot at having runners on base when he comes up, right? It's the same thing when Wade was leading off. It's like, yeah, Wade's on base percentage, based on last year's numbers, it's great. Get a guy on base, but if he slows molasses, it doesn't help you out that much. So I will say that Wade had a hit and 2 walks today. So
he's got glimpses of the late night Lamont and not see you later Lamont. We are gonna see some Casey Schmidt, guys. When they give Chapman the night off, something's happening, because Chapman does not like to have any days off. Melvin and him are close. For him to give him a night off means like, hey, bro, you're kind of struggling. Let's just sit this one out. That must have been a tough, conversation. But Casey Schmidt, I like this guy. I like him a lot. And I think he can be a pivotal guy at first base. Even if it's him and Lamont kind of platooning a little bit, I'd like to see Casey in there as much as possible, because he's got a cannon of an arm. He's a good athlete, and he looks like he's just a hitter now. Like I have confidence when he comes up to the plate. And Fitzgerald back is going to be a huge blessing, because I was watching the game. I think it was last night, or it might have been the day before. This guy hits a double, and I was perfect to see him run like first to second. He is so fast, and it's so fun to watch. And like, that's the kind of guy I've been dying to have. So let's get some hits. Let's get on base. Let's steal bases. Let's get in pitcher's head. And maybe by All-Star break, Fitzgerald could be our leadoff guy.
Yeah. And the whole first base thing with Schmidt playing over there, I mean, we always sort of assumed that this year would be kind of a platoon at first with Wade and Flores, just based on their age and health issues, right? It wasn't going to be one of those guys every single night. Okay. So having Schmidt there to be able to fill that hole is great. Schmidt's got natural raw power at the plate. If he can be patient, sit on his pitches, and make good swings, Schmidt can be a beast in the major leagues. I mean, he's a good weapon to have. So the other question for me now is, Gerard Encarnacion, I guess, has somewhat of a delay in getting back. He had a little bit of a setback with his hand. And so now you're looking at, the outfield as constructed, and Matos being sort of the utility outfielder who hasn't really done anything since he's been up, unfortunately, is it time to give Grant McCray a little stint at the major league level as that fourth outfielder?
It's a tricky one because I agree with you. I think that Matos, if he's gonna be good, needs to have more reps. I think it's way too early in his career for us to expect him to just come out every once in a blue moon and do phenomenal. I think he's the type of player that if he can get in there 4 or 5 times a week, you're going to start to see his ultimate performance. Thing I'm a little worried about with Matos is I still don't think he has the power to hit the ball out when he thinks he does. He hits a lot of balls to the warning track. So that means either you got to hit the ball harder, beef up even more than he already did, or just start hitting line drives and kind of go with the approach that like Jung-Hoo Lee does. And I think this is the same for Wade. I think if these guys could hit line drives more frequently, I think the home runs will come and the pop-ups will maybe go down a little bit. There's way too many pop-ups and way too many strikeouts. So those are two things that definitely need to change. And Robert Rothberg, I love you, bro, but Chapman's always entitled to have a night off. He just does not want a night off. He wants to play every game. So that's why I was saying it must have been tough. No disrespect to Chapman. He plays every game. And that's one of the things people don't remember also when they're criticizing Chapman and Adames. You're going to probably see them play 159 games. Like they're going to take 2 or 3 days off all year. That's a huge, huge security blanket to know every day I got these guys penciled in right there. And whether they're struggling or not with the bat, obviously Chapman's defense is top notch. And Adames is, I'd say he's above average.
Yeah. Those guys, they want to play every day. You know, they want to be in there contributing. And, you know, a lot of it has to do with the chemistry this year on this team. And I think without saying it, the team has basically put these guys as foundational pieces to this franchise for the young guys to learn with and come up with and stick with. So yeah, Chapman's going to be in there every day that he's healthy enough to do it. He's going to want to be in. Adames the same way. He doesn't want to miss a game. And that's great. You know, they're great players to have who want to play every day. So I've got no issues with any of that. I really want to see the bats be better, for lack of a better term. I mean, I think that, you know, watching games on TV and you kind of get an idea of what guys' swing paths are like and everything. A lot of guys are undercutting again. It's kind of like this bad habit they fall into. And I don't know if that's a function of the whole StatCast launch angle era where everything's about, the launch angle and the exit velocity and this and that and the other thing. It's like Oracle's not a home run park. Your hitting approach should not be a home run approach, right? That's it. Yeah. Ripken played how many consecutive games? 2,000 or something? Ridiculous.
Not start 2 games per week. That's ridiculous. I think you're out of your mind, Eddie. I love you a lot, but that 12-pack is going fast over there, buddy. How many of you drank? Jesus. 2 games out of 5 or 6? Like, come on, no way.
No.
These guys are, you know, prime athletes that can play many, many games. And when they're tired, they'll let the coach know. Otherwise, they're going to be out there every game unless the coach says you're struggling. I think those are the 2 things. Yeah. I was looking at the Giants, you know, their at bats and stuff. And so Casey Schmidt has 28 at bats so far, and Luis Matos has 65, just to put things into perspective. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen if Casey can get more at bats. I think that's going to help this team offensively. Our catching is, you know, Christian's backup catcher concern is a huge concern, and the starting catcher is even a concern offensively.
Yep.
But what's not a concern is David VR. I think he has finally left the building. Second DFA. We'll see where he lands. I wish him well, but I think his time here has been. We've seen everything with this guy, and it just hasn't worked. So I think it's time to cut that cord and give somebody else a time on the 40 man.
Yeah. And lest we forget, VR was part of the whole Farhan accelerated development plan that failed more often than it succeeded, right? They brought VR straight to the major leagues from AA ball. He'd never played a single inning in AAA. And so, you know, as much as he just didn't perform at the major league level any of the times that he was brought up, it's maybe not entirely his fault, but yeah, if the Giants move on from him, it's kind of like guys like Luciano. It's like, what are you going to do with these guys? They're not going to make an impact at the major league level with this squad, you know, in this division. So it's fine for them to, you know, adios out and let's look at the next crop of young guys that are coming up, right? I don't even want to mention that one guy's name, but you know, there's a bunch. So, you know, the Nationals scare me a little bit. It's a bunch of guys nobody's ever heard of, and they're playing out of their minds. So it's going to be a tough series for the Giants going on the road, playing in that. I guess they've had some unseasonably warm weather back there, so it's going to be humid and hot. And we'll see.
Are they going straight to DC? Is that the first series?
I think, but I haven't really.
I think it's DC, Miami, or Miami, DC, and then Detroit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be in Detroit, by the way. Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to the game, and I'm excited as can be. Never been there. Each year, my wife and I try to go to at least one new stadium. We're trying to check them all off. Here's what I got a question for you, Christian, and all you in the chat, especially you, Robert Rothberg. The big news of the day today was Justin Verlander is on the IL. They're saying it's going to be just 2 starts. What should the Giants do? What would you do if you were able to make all these moves? Would you switch Harrison into the starting rotation, even though maybe he's only going to get 2 attempts and then go back to the bullpen? Would you bring Hicks back for 2? Would you bring Wisenhunt up from AAA and see what he's got? Is there something else out there that might be a possibility? What would you guys do? What are you thinking on this?
Well, if you want my opinion, I like Harrison better out of the pen. I feel like Wisenhunt, to just throw him out there into the rotation, and then potentially he's going back to Sacramento after that. It's kind of a tease. It doesn't really seem productive for him in terms of player development. So if you have to bring Hicks back into the rotation for 2 starts, I mean, yeah, it might do a number on his head. That's worrisome. So I don't know. I mean, what's the best option? Maybe Harrison gets 2 spot starts, you know, and you don't really start mucking with the roster too much. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you get another lefty in the rotation for 2 games, but Harrison hasn't started a game in a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have to stretch him out. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I've been doing some thinking about this. Let's see what George Curry says first. He says, start Harrison and have Hicks be ready to throw a few innings if needed. Wisenhunt stays in AAA. Giants are not going to burn Wisenhunt's time. Bring him up and send him back. So at first, I thought that was the route. Like, my initial reaction was, as a fan, though, I want to see Wisenhunt. I want to see, like, he's the player of the week in AAA. He's pitched 7 games in a row, like high level. He deserves to come up. But this is the issue. How long is Verlander out? Do they know? If they do, is it longer than 2 starts? Because to me, that's the whole equation. For me, I don't want to see Wisenhunt come up for 2 games and then go back to AAA.
Right.
And I don't really want to see Harrison become a starter for 2 games and then go back to being in the bullpen. I think, like Birdsong, once Harrison is a starter, he's there for the long haul. I think that's his ultimate goal, and he gets there and then just stays there. So that's where I'm like, maybe you do 2 games where it's not necessarily like the relief pitching games of Brebbia years, but you do have Jordan Hicks where maybe Jordan Hicks can start and throw till, first inning, he gets rocked, you're out. You got 3 innings, cool. You got 6 innings, even cooler. And you just do that for 2 games, maybe. I'm worried about these guys doing the tinker tanker with some of their future. Look, Kyle Harrison is our future. He's gonna be a starter in this rotation, and you just don't want to like aggravate him and confuse him and do all that stuff. So
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I would rather start Hicks and have Harrison ready. I would do what George Curry said, except flip-flop. I would have Hicks start and have Harrison ready to come in. I don't know why. It's kind of the same thing, but I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe you just do that because Hicks has had such a tough time his first innings that maybe it's better to start with Harrison and follow up with Hicks. I'm excited to see Wisenhunt, though. I am excited for that. So we'll see what all this means. I know Keaton Wynn's hurt. I think Beck and Jelly are available, but kind of seen that story before. So
Beck and who?
Jelly.
Who?
Peanut Becker and Jelly.
I don't ever want to see Jelly again.
He's gonna be back eventually.
And Bivens, every time he gives me a reason to think like, oh, maybe Bivens should be here, then he shows me maybe he shouldn't be here. I mean, today, just, dude, you got to come in and put a stop to it, and you're going to cough up 2 more. Like, it doesn't work, because the Giants, had a chance to climb back in that game, and every time they started to, pitching let them down, right?
George Curry with so Verlander's never going to be in the bullpen, and he's not going to be a pitching coach either. and so, like, let's take this statement right here, because this is what I'm worried about. What if Harrison comes in as a starter, throws 8 innings, 1 hit ball, the next game he goes the distance? What do you do then? And then Verlander comes back. I just don't want to be put in those positions where it's like, yeah, you deserve it, but this guy has more tenure or whatever. It's like, I just think when it's time for him to have an opportunity, that's when you give him that opportunity. So if he does well, he deserves to continue that. But I'm old school, and maybe that's part of this issue, how I look at it. But I don't know. I think all your guys' points are valid, though. I think that any one of these things could happen, and we have no idea if it's going to be a Bomel decision or a Bomel and Posey collab, or if it's going to be a Posey decision. So I think ideally it's got to be Verlander within the next day or 2 saying, I don't know if I can pitch this game, but I know I can be back. Like, hopefully there's not just this open window of like, I don't know, could be 2 games, could be 10, like,
Yeah, and with a guy his age and all of that and the injury history, it's like, it's got to be, yeah, I'm strong enough to do it, I'm healthy enough to do it. If not, that's when these other options become more like glaring, like we need to make a move. I feel like, as constructed, the general pitching staff on the roster, bullpen and starters, probably should stay mostly the same through the All-Star break minimum. I don't like the idea of bringing Wisenhunt up early. I could totally see him as a September call-up. The Giants get in the wild card, and now you get to add a man. It's like, yeah, bring him up, see what's going on. But I just feel like, I don't know.
There's not going to be a 6-man rotation either. That's out the window. If they were going to do that, they would have started the year with that.
Yep.
The other thing about Wisenhunt is he's not on the 40-man. And so if you're going to open that can for just 2 starts, like you put him on the 40-man, and that's where I think is really going to be the issue for that. And I agree with who said it. Was it George Curry or JB? Wisenhunt's debut should definitely be at home. So I would love to see him get his first start at home. The parents are there, the typical Giants, the way they do it. It's really classy and everyone gets fired up. And so, yeah, that would be much better than seeing it in Miami or somewhere. It's like, whatever.
Yeah. So I noticed you're wearing the free ePay t-shirt today. And in case anybody out there isn't aware of this, he has now failed to report to prison for the 2nd time. And everyone is now starting to question the validity of him being charged with the embezzlement and all of that, and the integrity and whatever's going on with show pay or whatever you want to call him now. I mean, it's sketchy.
There's a lot of people thinking this Pete Rose thing is all connected to Shohei.
Yeah. You mean the Hall of Fame discussion? Is that what
the fact that they opened up the Hall of Fame to Shoeless Joe, the White Sox team, and Pete Rose, these guys that cheated and bet and did all this stuff. It's like, just so they do that, then the MLB is so far up Shohei's, that they want, no matter what happens, he's got to be able to make it into the Hall. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but there is definitely a movie in the making out of this story, because it is not what they're telling us, guys.
Yep.
There's no way that eBay did this crazy scandal all by himself and Shohei did not know anything about it. There's no way that happened. So,
yeah, listen, if you're not going to notice 17.5 million missing from your bank account, I notice if $7.50 is missing from my bank account. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. So I sort of liked Ohtani when he was in Anaheim. Once he became a Dodger, it's like, I got nothing but hate for that guy. And I hope he sinks. I hope they bust him. I hope that somebody rats him out or something, it's just, he's this cash cow and poster child for baseball. And it's like, it's the worst example. Right. So,
yeah, it's a bummer. And I mean, if we're going to talk the Dodgers at all, I do want to say, like, Yamamoto has pretty much arrived as, described, as advertised. Sasaki, not so much. But the Dodgers are having a rough time. I don't know if you guys are following them, but 13 guys on the IL in the pitching. Kershaw coming back and getting hit around like he didn't look good at all. I mean, people are talking about Verlander. Kershaw he needs to retire. I don't know what he's doing. And then tonight, I'm looking at the games tonight, and I'm scrolling through the scores, and what do I see? I see a huge blowout, and it's in Toronto, I believe. And I believe it was, now it's not coming up. Oh, here we go. Where was it? Where did it go now? I was just looking at it. Well, Toronto's beating the crud out of the San Diego Padres. 14-0. It's over. Toronto Blue Jays destroyed Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, and all your favorite dads from San Diego. So let's not get too whiny about a Giants loss. It sucks when we lose series. And yes, the last 34 games, they are 17-17. And if they didn't start out 8-1, they'd be a 500 team. But guess what? They started out 8-1, and their record is 29-21, 8 games above 500. So you could take your ifs and your thises and your that's and stuff them and burn that shit to hell, because baseball is baseball. There is luck. There is all kinds of bounces that go certain ways, and sometimes it goes your way. There's calls that are made that go your way. Sometimes they don't. All this goes into it, and all we can do is watch it and enjoy. So wherever these teams are, that's where they are. And the Giants are 29-1. They're half a game ahead of the Padres, and I think 1 game behind the Dodgers. So, the National League West they're fired up.
Yeah.
D-backs aren't far behind either.
Yeah, I think they're 3 or 4 back. And it's look, they've been hovering at 8 games over 500 now for quite a while. They've just stayed there. They haven't dropped in the standings. They haven't dropped in the record. They win 1, they lose 1. They win 2, they lose 1. They win 2, they win 1. Lose 2, win 1. It's like, everybody's, oh my God, the sky is falling. It's like, yeah, just hang on a minute. And as far as, comparing Kershaw to Verlander, there is no comparison. Okay. Kershaw's done. Verlander has pitched well enough to win in all but maybe 2 of his starts.
He really has.
He just didn't get the run support, or the bullpen blew it and he got a no decision. So, I mean, we should just put that correctly, that Verlander, everybody wants to jump on him now that he went on the IL. It's like he's 42 years old. That's what you're going to get. Guys are going to have little injuries. And really, it's like, how do you react to that? And you plan for when he comes back and how long it's going to be. And you adjust, but you don't go down and find, Clayton Kershaw, dig him up out of the crypt and throw him onto the mound like that. I mean, exactly. That's awful, dude. Like, he should have retired,
These guys go too long, right? That you want to go out on top. You don't want to go out as like,
right. Listen, Kershaw secured being a first ballot Hall of Famer 10 years ago. It's not like he needs to be pitched. He didn't need to pitch last year. He didn't need to pitch the year before that. Definitely doesn't need to be pitching now, And if I was at the top of something like that, I'd say, you know what? I've made all the money. I want to go out looking like a stud, It's like Koufax, retired because his arm was basically just disintegrating, right? But he said part of it was just, I don't want to go out there and not be good. I want to be great. And if I can't be great, I don't want to do it. So, and that's not ego. That's just about like, hey, you know what? You have your peak. And when you start to fall off, it's like, just get out, man. Everybody loves you. Nobody well, to watch you rot. So, yeah. Hey, whatever. But
you guys know what time it is, right?
It's time to shit on Farhan.
JV comes through with Babe Rocks. I don't care what capacity he has now within the Dodgers organization, but having -15 WAR in Farhan Zaidi in the clubhouse is infectious. That's right, baby. That's right. Farhan has gone to Farhan and rubbed some salt in some of the Doyers dogs, and what we haven't seen in a long time is anything like get Kike, baby, get Kike. That's right.
Yeah, they're not having too many athletic supporter bumping celebrations these days in LA, right? So we'll see what happens. Maybe the Diamondbacks can hang a bad one on him tonight. That would be good.
I think it could happen. So can we trade for Bichette and bat him second, put Fitz at first base? Tired of having 4 guys in the lineup batting lower than 225. It's ridiculous. So we're going to trade for Bichette and put him at shortstop. And I guess you're thinking we could trade Adames for Bichette, or how does all this work? Fitz at first base. I think if he was going to do that, they would already been, working on that, because I think that was an obvious idea in the beginning. But he's our second baseman. He's pretty much at second base. I think Wisely's not the guy, and I think Fitz is. I mean, if you're going to put Fitz at first, what are you going to do? Put Casey at second? I think flipping that is better. I think Fitz at second, Casey at first. But there's been talk about trading for Bichette for at least 2 years. I don't think it's going to happen. There was this whole idea of Vladimir and Bichette coming together and reuniting with Chapman. I don't see it happening. Oh, okay. You're saying Bichette play second base and then move Fitz over to first. I don't know. I mean, I'm down. I would love to have Bichette in our lineup. No doubt about that. It would be great. When we get to trade talk, it always comes back to who are we giving and what team wants them, right? It's like, does Toronto, Toronto didn't they just redo Vladdy's contract and went all in?
They did. They just extended him for 13 years or something. And so something about that tells me Bichette's not moving, that he's going to stay there, right? Because that's a pretty powerful infield if you have those 2 guys, right? And I like Fitz at second base. I feel like his ceiling's really high. And we got super weapon Christian Koss on the bench, man. He can come in. He can take over a day at second. He can come in off the bench. He can pitch in garbage time. I mean, I don't know that it's really necessary to start shuffling that around. The first base question is going to linger all year. We know that, right? And as far as Adames in trade talk, okay, Adames just signed one of the biggest contracts in the history of baseball. Certainly in the history of the Giants, it's the biggest one. Nobody's trading to take on that money. Okay. We've got Adames is a Giant. That's it. So you can complain all you want. He ain't going nowhere. We know that. Right. And I'm fine with it. So it's just that's ridiculous. That's like fantasy league stuff. Right. Which, speaking of my team, thanks a lot, Logan Webb. You just sunk my fantasy team today, dude.
I'm creeping. I'm crawling upward. I think I'm in sixth place now. Sixth.
I think I've been in last place for like 3 weeks now. It's terrible. Yeah. Chapman let me down. Webb let me down. Jung-Hoo Lee started to let me down. It's rough. I guess I shouldn't have been such a homer.
Yeah. What can you do? What can you do? Hey, little doggies showing up for some food. Yeah. So guys, we got the day off tomorrow, right? And then when's the next game?
Next game will be let's see. It should be Friday.
Oh yeah, today's Wednesday. God, I thought today was Sunday. I'm like,
yeah,
what?
Friday they open up in DC, and it's 3:45 our time start. So yeah, we'll see. The Nationals have been tough this year. So it's gonna be, but the Giants have been really good on the road. That's one thing this year that's been really like pleasantly surprising is how well they played on the road against tough teams too, right?
Yo, Daniel. Yeah, we got Roop on the mound and we're facing our good friend TBD again. And I don't know how well we do with TBD. I do worry. There is talk. We didn't talk about this much, but there has been a lot of talk about teams changing their rotation to get more left-handed pitchers coming against us because the Giants have done so poorly against lefties. So, I mean, like today, the TBD was the Royals relief pitcher, a lefty. So don't be surprised if you start seeing that kind of stuff. This all gets back to the offense. We have plenty of right-handed hitters. We should be able to hit left-handed pitching. I don't know what's going on there, but the Nationals are 22-27, and the Giants are 29-21, and we're going to win this series. And hopefully I'm going to pull my broom out at some point. We need another sweep. Yep. So whether it's Miami, the Nationals, it's probably not going to be Detroit. Detroit is playing real well, guys.
Yeah, they're tough. They're tough. I mean, most likely sweep opportunity is Miami, but you know, they could put a hurting on the Nationals too. The Giants have always played pretty well in that ballpark. Traditionally going back quite a ways. So I'm optimistic about the weekend for sure.
Eddie, this all changes this year. This all changes this year, okay?
Yeah, they've played well in DC. I want to know what the record is. I think it's better than what Eddie thinks.
Yeah.
Certainly they have a great postseason record in DC, right? So
that's true. Yeah, hey, that's true.
Whatever.
I mean, the Nats have a lot of good young guys. They have a lot of good they're always high in prospects and all that stuff, but I'm not too scared of them. I don't know what their pitching staff is like, but this guy TBD, he's an interesting, evasive kind of guy. Yeah, we beat the Nationals 3-4 last year. Simmer down, Eddie. Hey, Eddie, you ever do the one where you take the can and you put your thumb in there and go and then just shoot the whole thing? Why don't you do one of those for us right now, huh? We're going to play a little drinking game where every time Eddie gets something wrong, he has to shoot a whole beer.
Yeah. It's they've had a few tough ones there, but I think, it only took 18 innings to win that one playoff game when Brandon Belt, the king of poorly timed situational hitting, actually came through. Oh man, that game was like 7 hours or something ridiculous. So,
well, I did, as I was walking into the game today, they were loading up the truck that takes all their luggage to the airport. And I'll tell you what, I've never seen so many bags of golf clubs. There was a lot of golf clubs getting packed onto this. So I think they have 2 days off on this road trip, and everyone was licking their lips to get out on the golf course. So long flight usually helps a little bit of bonding. Look, the team's still new in some areas. Adames is still, this guy is outgoing and a great personality, but we're 450. Today was the 50th game. Yeah. So we're 50 games into the season. It's about almost 1/3. I'm excited to look. I'm not going to lie. When I get to Detroit, I'm going to be smiling because I cannot wait to see that stadium. And they got a good team. They got great pitching. Hopefully Scooble's on the mound one game, and we can see what our guys can do against their best. I mean, we want to see these matchups, and hopefully we can do well.
Yeah, definitely. Take your puffer vest out to Detroit. It might get a little chilly.
Oh, it's coming. Yeah. Yeah, the puffer vest. So what happened was I missed the game. The only game I didn't go to for the A series was actually the only game I didn't go to this whole homestand was the A's game where they gave away the puffer vest. And one of my bros at the stadium ended up getting 2 somehow. And so we did a little trade, and I ended up getting the puffer last night, and I sat out in the bleachers, and I've never been a vest fan, but that thing kept me warm. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, wow, this is keeping me pretty warm. So, the quality, a lot of people on other shows complain about these giveaways, But I'll tell you this, if you can fit into the vest, you might enjoy the vest.
Is it small?
No, but some people are big.
That's
They
true.
think that they're going to make a double or a triple XL for these ex-hockey players, It's probably not gonna
That's When
happen.
I got the Jeremy Fish hoodie, I'm like, hey, you need 2X? They're like, nope, only X.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
either
give me an
medium
X.
or XL. That's all they have.
Yeah, so it's like, well, I don't know. Maybe I could shed a few pounds and wear it. Right now, it's still in the plastic bag it came in, so it's just sitting there. I mean, they have some cheesy promos there, but every once in a while, something cool comes up. You gonna get your Hello Kitty jersey?
I probably will. The thing with me is I tend to go to almost every game, so whatever they're giving out, I end up
You're gonna
getting.
get it. Well, you got
A lot of times it goes straight to eBay, though. I'm not gonna lie.
you got the gold bobblehead. You didn't sell that, did you?
Yeah,
You did.
220.
Wow, nicely done.
Yeah.
Done.
Look, I got a bunch of bobbleheads for any of you Giants fans out there. If you want bobbleheads, I'm trying to sell all my old bobbleheads because they're taking up a lot of space and I just don't have a lot of space. So if anyone wants some, throw me some dollars and we'll see what we can come up with. I got a lot in storage. So I'm probably going to get rid of most of them. I'm not getting rid of the Lamont Wade one with it's got the counter for the splash hit.
100th splash hit.
And it has like a little, I think you can put water in it and it'll shoot water out of the things. That one's cool. And then I think there's like 2 or 3 that I got to keep for sure. And then I'm going to try to let my fucking that I just love to collect things and say I'm getting rid of all the rest, which is going to be a huge feat for me. It's not easy for me to do that stuff.
Hoarder style.
Yeah.
I got 100 pence bobblehead. It's not for sale.
Is that the one with the scooter? Yeah.
No, it's the one where he's catching the ball up against the
I think I have that one too.
And his tongue's hanging out the whole. It's funny. Unfortunately, it has a big PG&E logo on it. But aside from that, it's pretty cool. So
well, that's what was cool about the vest. Cheryl pointed that out. She's like, if you're gonna have an advertiser on your vest and it's not that big of a logo, it's this big on the back. Ghirardelli, San Francisco, count me in, man.
Hey, chocolate. I like that.
Great ice cream at the ballpark too. Oh, by the way, I had an elote dog finally. I got the new elote dog in my system. I don't know if I'm going to get another one, but it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. But if I'm going to get a dog, I want to get the Polish, the big, like the kielbasa style with all the everything on it. The thing that you need a fork to get in there.
Those are good. Those are good.
But the elote dog's interesting. If you're ever at the game, I recommend you at least try it once.
Mayonnaise and cayenne pepper, right?
Yeah, and corn. It's like a creamy corn. It's basically Mexican style.
Right.
It's got a little spice to it. It was good, and it's a bacon wrapped dog.
Yeah. Oh, crazy. Yeah, a real elote is like they sell it on every street corner around here. It's like the corn on the cob, and they slather the hot mayonnaise shit on it, and it's like I'm not into it, man. I don't eat street food, especially in LA. It's just
sketch
mystery meat, dude. I see them like shaving off all that shit on the corner. They're out there with like work lights at night, and my big question about that stuff has always been, where the hell do they go to the bathroom, and where the hell do they wash their hands after they go to the bathroom? Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm eating there. Sorry. I'm not a germaphobe, but like I don't need a fat dose of E. coli with my dinner. So,
Okay. Well, guys, who's going to be on the mound? Who's starting Saturday in DC? Because right now it says 105 game, May 24th, Saturday. San Francisco's got TBD on the mound, and so does Washington. So I don't know if the same guy's just going to stay on the mound for both, but TBD, Tony Better Duck.
Yeah, Ted Bundy's dad.
Ted Bundy's dad. I like that. Yeah, there you go. Ted Bundy's dad. Cheryl's reading the Zodiac book right now, and it's amazing. She's telling me some stuff like what she's reading. I'm like, Oh my God. I love it.
True
It's
story. I got a copy of that from the daughter of the guy that wrote it. I used to work with her at 20th Century Fox.
oh, no way.
You've seen the movie, right?
Oh
Zodiac.
yeah. I've
Okay.
seen the movie, the document, I think 2
The
documentaries.
okay, so when you see him and he has the stroller with the little baby in it,
Yeah.
that's Margot, this girl that I used to work with at 20th Century Fox.
Oh shit. Her dad wrote the book.
Her dad wrote the book. Yeah,
Oh
he
wow.
was he
Yeah.
was the cartoonist at the Chronicle.
That's
And
insane. I'll let her know that. And
man,
TV news, guys. This guy right here is on a binge of Severance. Don't spoil anything, but I think he's 3, maybe 4 episodes away from finishing it.
this is
3,
this
I
is
think, right?
this is how binge we like just burn through the first season all over again, just as a refresher, and then
Uh-huh.
fired right into season 2, and we just finished episode 7. So it's so freaky weird, man. But I like it. I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool when they get the harmony episode. I think that's when everything starts clicking. You're gonna be like, wait a minute. Oh, oh. And you're not gonna be sure, but you're gonna have new ideas of what you think is going on after
Right,
that episode.
right.
So let me know when you see that one.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
that was my favorite episode of the whole second season.
I think we're gonna try to go after another episode, maybe 2 tonight. We'll see.
I love your guys' technique. That's Cheryl and I. If when we get a show we really like, it's over. Like if they're all available, it's like less than a week. We're just like watch them all.
Yeah. It's like I was that way with Westworld, and there's been a bunch of series that I'm just like, okay, if I'm gonna commit to this, I'm gonna commit to this for real. Take
For
a
sure.
take a weekend and watch 10 episodes of a show. I mean, trying to think of some of the ones that were like other ones that were like that. Ozark was a
Yeah.
show you couldn't just watch one episode.
Yeah.
And that's back when Netflix would release an entire season at once, though. Made it easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Apple does it 1 week at a time. HBO does it 1 week at a time. Showtime's 1 week at a time. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's fun. Something to distract me from when the Giants lose.
And Babe Rocks, I gotta let you know. I don't know if you've been hiding under a rock or something, but Birdsong already made his debut. It was like 2 nights ago. Or was it last? Wait, I'm so confused. It was Monday, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Monday.
Man, I for some reason I thought it was Sunday just now. I'm like, what is going on? I guess that's what happens when you go to a day game during the
Day
week.
game, yeah. Yeah, because the weekday day games are like, what? It's only every homestand, once every other homestand or something. They have a weekday day game, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think usually Wednesdays it's a day game in SF, but
Yeah.
well, that's about all we got, right?
Yeah, I think so. We can bust out, and I guess might chime in over on the other channel, see what those guys are talking about. I'm sure the curmudgeon factor will be high.
I don't like to throw stones, but I've been going to a lot of games, and I got pretty good seats, and I can see where Lou sits at the game, and I have not seen him once. So,
Wow.
I'm not saying he's not there, but I just haven't seen him. So I know where his seat is, but I have not seen him there. So, yeah, I mean, let's point out all the things we don't like. What is it? The glass is half empty or it's half full.
That's right.
I think my perspective on all that is outside of baseball, there's plenty of stuff to be negative about. Let's keep baseball positive. Let's enjoy our squad. We're above 500. We're doing better than anyone predicted. And we got a bunch of great guys on the team. Like I pretty much back everybody on the Giants this year. It's not, there's been years before where I'm like, get this guy out of here, get this guy out of here. This year, pretty much the whole squad is, I back them. So let's enjoy the ride, guys. Let's hope for some wins in DC, and then look for me on the tube Tuesday and Wednesday. Apparently we have good seats in Detroit, so I don't know
Nice.
exactly where we're sitting yet, but I think one day we're on third base side and the other game we're on first base side. So
Nice.
I'll be wearing some Giants gear though. Maybe Kruk and Kipe will make fun of me or something.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that guy just dropped his popcorn. So just I had to put up this comment from D-Bogs. It's like, this dude is like a serious time traveler. He thought it was still 2223. He came from 200 years in the future. How is it? How is it? Man, I want to know.
Marty, you got to come back with me. It's crazy. The Giants have won 20 World Series.
It's awesome.
Yes.
Marty McLurry.
I wanted to use this thing tonight. I don't know how to do it though. I'm gonna have to save it for next time. We're gonna have to save it for next time. Call the feds on him. It's because I was doing my 2022. Guys, Bobby Witt Jr. is a great player and he's a great human being. He signed my baseball card today, and for that, I give lots of thanks. I had to go to 3 games to get her done, and in the 9th inning with the bases loaded and 2 outs, I got the grand slam, and I was fired up. So thanks to Bobby Witt Jr., I back you more than Shohei, and it was cool to see a lot of Royals fans somehow. There's actually a lot of Royal fans came out for the 3 games, and some of them aren't so cool. Some of them are a little rude. You know, I'm not saying all of them, but there was definitely some rude ones. And it's always weird for me to see rude fans of the other team in my house. Yeah. Because when I go to other people's houses, I'm very like tranquilo, because, you know, I ain't trying to get jumped by 50 of the other team's fans.
Yeah. Well, San Francisco is a lot mellower than it used to be. I mean, you expect the rudeness from Dodger fans, but hey, whatever. So yeah, well, I think we'll call it a day on this one, and yeah, go Giants in the National Series and this whole road trip. I think, you know, be strong in Washington, be strong in Miami, and then Detroit. You know, try to take 2 out of 3, win the series. If not, come out of there minimum, win a game. Got to win at least one. So.
That's right. And remember, as always, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and pass along the word that we're doing this and we're trying to have a fun time. And for us, having fun equals more people. So if we can get the conversations going, D-Bogs, JB, all you guys that show up really supports what we're doing. And to see you guys in there is kind of the fuel that makes me want to keep doing them. So, you know, if we can get some more people in here and keep it going, I would appreciate it. And other than that, always remember what the great Screaming Lord Salva says.
Fuck the Dodgers.
That is right. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Skaters on Baseball. If you liked what you heard, please spread the word, give us a good review, or hell, blow us up on your social media if you're down. Follow us at Skates on Base on Instagram for baseball news and other fun stuff. We love comments and listener participation, so bring it with an audio clip or an email. You can email us at skatersonbase@gmail.com. We're everywhere you get your podcasts, and we'll be here all season long.
Let's go, San Francisco. Let's go, Giants.
Dude, that was one of the most mind-blowing shows I've seen to this day.
Much love.
Adios! Pelota!
See you soon. Thank you.
And I am forever a Giant.